poor students. I think those are all great ideas, but they're not explicitly socialist. Socialism, in my view, has to do with really quite massive redistribution of the economic surplus so that we don't have the kinds of inequalities that we have today.
So I guess who in our current political environment do you see even coming close to that ideal? Jill Stein, anyone else?
I don't really follow all the minor candidates. I'm sure there are a number of people who are socialists, but and Sanders, I think, probably has these ideas and believes them, but he didn't base his presidential campaign on them.
Yeah.
He thought that was too radical to advocate breaking up big firms, for instance, or distributing stock to everybody.
Yeah.
Or having many more nationalized firms, so that there were firms, the profits of which, or a large fraction of the profits of which, go to the state treasury, to the individual shareholders.
Yeah, getting back to something you mentioned a little earlier, with certainly it was illustrated with the age divide during the Democratic primaries, with Sanders attracting so many young voters. Do you think there's an opportunity going forward, considering the evidence we have so far that folks in my generation may be more open to a more robust public sector? And what do you think? What do you think more socialist-oriented progressives can do to, dare I say, capitalize on that?
Well, I think people have to organize. I mean, I think the energy from the Sanders campaign should be kept up. I hope people build some organizations, mass organizations, that really start fighting for these things, and really doing that not only through social movements and demonstrations like Occupy, but through legislative and electoral work, by getting people elected to local and congressional offices, and eventually have an effect. I think if socialism comes to the United States, it's not going to be through a violent revolution. I think it's going to be through a democratic transition. And the only way that can happen is if people who want it really organize for it.
Well, and getting to that, what do you think is realistically achievable in the next few years? Even if, say, Hillary Clinton is elected president, we have a more progressively minded Congress. What do you think can be done, at least in terms of eating around the edges and moving us closer to that goal?
I think beginning with a lot of these reforms that we put in the Democratic platform would be very good, like state-funded education for everybody whose family income is below $125,000. That would be an excellent reform. I think a higher minimum wage would be extremely good. If we had a $15 minimum wage, that would push up all other wages. That would be very good. Reforms on the provision of child care and maternity leave, the various things that all European countries have, and that only a few private firms in the United States now have. And I think breaking up the big banks may be a good idea. I'm not really an expert on banking, but I think it may well be a good idea to separate investment banking from commercial banking.
Restoring Glass-Steagall.
I think all these are excellent reforms.